So here is a controversial topic I have wanted to speak on for a while, if the title of the damn video wasn't a dead giveaway already. The miserable failure of the French government, and now the French population has to suffer yet another 5 years under Macron's inept reign. It is no secret I'm for a monarchy, but I imagine advocating for its return after the French Revolution, that might not sit well with the sane. However, what I found odd, looking at the voting demographics in their recent election, was the young people broke very heavily for Le Pen, while the older generation all voted for Macron. The only group that put Macron over Le Pen were the over 60s, which is an interesting break from the old norm, because if you look at Western tradition usually, it's the youth that lean more to the left. As the old saying goes, if you're young and socialist, you have no heart. If you're old and socialist, you have no head. And considering we're talking about France, the saying is quite amusing given its history. But nevertheless, Grim Reaper, Scythe, you have your targets. A load of people meeting their ends at the hands of a blade. Fitting end if you're a French person, but anyway. A much welcome change seeing the rising tide of nationalist populism emerging across the Western world, though how much of the country will still be left standing after it has to endure yet another 5 years of a globalist wanker remains to be seen. My biggest question was how the hell, given the fact that Macron has seen endless protests since the beginning of his last election, for heaven's sakes, possibly win re-election. His approval was in the 30s, for heaven's sakes. Now, I don't have evidence for this. I am basing this purely on my own opinion, but I suspect how Macron handled the coup had something to do with it. Now, before you say, but Spoon, you top hat sporting utensil, what are you, crazy? His response was draconian as all hell. Yes, I'm not disputing that, but look at the demographic in question. If I walk around here, the only people still wearing that stupid face blankie are the older generation, even though it makes no sense at all. It's to protect others from you, not the other way around, but they don't know that, or even care, I would wager. It's psychological. The honest truth is, the older generation are stupid and scared. They're closer to the end of their years, and Macron's draconian policies made them feel safer, and they don't have the access to the information that we do. Or rather, they have no intention of learning how to access it. But that's common with the older generation. After a certain point, most of them have simply no intention of integrating themselves with newer technology. They're set in their ways, they've lived their life, and they're content with that. Another reason I'd imagine is her family name, one that is a bit tied to a reputation of ill repute, shall we say, which is obviously one that will strike a chord much more with the older generation than the younger. That and she is a woman. Yes, that is a tired, rehashed line, but again, the older generation have their different values of the dynamic of men and women in power. The younger people have a lot more at stake in their country. They still have their whole lives ahead of them, and it's being destroyed by the older generation who frankly have no idea of what is even going on. And I was looking at France. The absolute failure of democracy in that country, that you can simply re-elect an atrocious poor leader, all because the majority favor it, which is nothing but mob rule, let's be honest. And looking at democracy, please spare me this bullshit of, we get to elect our representatives, A, as if that's really the case, and B, selection by the population produces moral or effective government. I thought of this a couple of days ago. Why do we have democracy? Why does the Western culture revere voting so much? The only thing I could think of was that old bullshit saying of, people fought and died for your right to vote. Okay, with all offense intended. Who fucking cares? What, just because people fought and died for a cause, somehow we're supposed to honor it as noble, are we? Give me a fucking break. The Nazis also fought for a cause, and we don't honor them. Why? Because they lost. The only reason we do is because the ideology of the victorious survived because they were the victors, and there were no other immediate challenges to their rule. And that is the God's honest truth. And we've been persisting with this cancerously poor ideology for decades. Even as it becomes increasingly apparent, it produces catastrophic disasters. I mean, look at your representatives. How did they get on the ballot to begin with? Did you put them there? No, the connected did. And those propped up representatives represent them. Your vote is just a means to an end. Imagine you walk into a shop and you see all kinds of goodies and you think, wow, I get to choose from all of this? And you get paused and told, no. Do you see those people standing in the corner there, fanning themselves with money? Yeah, you get to pick what they pick for you. And your pick only matters if the majority happen to agree with you. And if you don't like it, tough shit. You have to live under somebody else's rules that you in no way agree to. That's democracy. And the concept of universal suffrage, my word, it is baffling. Now, imagine someone came to you and said, I'd like to have a say in who runs my government. Okay, do you know anything about politics, about statecraft, about economics, who the representatives even are? Anything at all? Nope. Then what exactly makes you qualified to vote? I'm a citizen and I'm over 18. Here's your ballot. Welcome aboard. Am I the only one who thinks this is sheer fucking insanity? And to make matters even more insane, a minimum age is the exact same fucking qualification you need to run for office. And when you pick someone, you have absolutely no clue of their education, their history, what they really think. You have no idea what they will even do or even can do should they get the job. The qualification that matters most to the vast majority is how their candidate makes them feel. Once in office, damn near nothing at all will get them removed from office. Why? Because voting placates the citizenry. Oh no, our leader is bad. No matter, we can show them what for in 4 or 5 years fucking time. And when they exit office, absolutely nothing at all will happen to them. Because all of the focus is on the next person to hopefully be better than the previous one. But do we have any guarantee? Nope, none at fucking all. It is a total crapshoot. And what makes even less sense, with many, it seems the longer you are in politics, the worse you are at your job, which would tell you there's some incredibly insidious force within the political apparatus, that the self-interest of a typical politician is antithetical to what makes a competent and noble statesman. Trump is the utter enigma that defies damn near everything. He had no political chops, no prior experience with the apparatus, at the time oldest politician to be elected, and proved himself to be an oddly impressive president. How the hell you get that? Who the hell knows? But I saw an article that said the future is Le Pen, saying the trajectory is heading towards a nationalist populism more and more, despite Macron's win. You know what that tells me? That the current wankers in office have zero intention of listening to any issues espoused by those on the right. None at all. And the right have to wait for another half a fucking decade to take a crack at it. Again, while all of their most pressing issues fail to get addressed and denigrate the state of the nation. What a great system of government. And that's all for today. Fuck democracy.